when you add your credit card and the first month that you get a credit card, please, everybody who's watching this, if this is your first credit card, do not allow that first month to be wasted on reporting a $0 utilization. Because a lot of people get their credit cards and they scared to use it, so they'll just like whatever, like keep it in their pocket or keep it in their wallet. When you activate that card, you typically are going to be mid-cycle, depending on how long your bank took to mail it to you. Go get some gas, go buy some chips, go do something so that you have at least 1 to 3% reporting that first time. The reason why it's important the first time is because when your credit card hits your credit report for the first time, you open yourself up to utilization. Because if you don't have any credit cards, you're not getting a single point out of the 165 points that are allotted for credit utilization. So when you first get your credit card, make sure that you report a very small balance. So the second that credit card hits your credit report, which is usually like 60 days after you get it, you should see a large increase in your credit score.
Yeah, go buy you a pair of sneakers, y'all. So I wonder what your thoughts around this, because we spoke about student loans a few times, and I feel like we're on the cusp of a student loan crisis, right?
Yeah.
We had a student loan pause. Now people have to pay again, and obviously there will be defaults and there will be forbearance. But that's a trickle-down effect, right? Because if there's a student loan crisis, that would mean that there will be a credit crisis too, because that will impact people's credits, and that will affect how people will be able to get home loans, which will have a housing crisis. So from your standpoint, in the middle of it, right, with the credit piece, talk about the importance of student loan repayment, and what we can do for that population, and even not even that population, but everybody. It's 43 million people who have student loans. Yeah,
studies show that I want to say 83% of people have credit or have student loans on their credit reports, right? So it basically affects all of us. When it comes to student loans, I know a lot of people always like, I want to get my student loans deleted. They're messing up my credit. The thing is, your student loans are actually probably helping your credit way more than it's hurting it. The only time it hurts it is if you have like multiple late payments. But a student loan is like one of the easiest accounts to utilize to build credit, because most people are in deferment majority of their student loan journey. And if the thing is, your student loans are not going to be reported late until you're at least 90 days late. The thing about that is 90 days late is 3 consecutive late payments. So the second that you even realize that you are late on your student loans, you're down 3 late payments. So that's a hard hit to your credit score. When it comes to your loan service, if you contact them and work out an agreement, get on deferment, nothing's wrong with deferment, then you will avoid a late payment. But as opposed to like paying off your student loans, I'm in the middle about that, because, a part of me, I know a lot of people are upset about, we were promised the $10,000, $20,000. A lot of people were banking on their student loans being forgiven and all of that. So they, didn't think that they would have to pay it. But the thing, if you have student loans on your credit report, make sure that you are contacting your servicer and getting on a deferment plan. They're not going to deny a deferment. Legally, within the next 12 months, if you request it, they have to give it to you. If you have a federal student loan, request deferment before your account goes 90 days past due. Actually, next month, a lot of people, unfortunately, will probably have late payments on their credit report, because it's been 90 days since the pause ended. So calling this month though will prevent it. Like, so again, if you have not contacted your servicer, if they have not reached out to you, make sure that you're in contact with them before January, basically, so that you can avoid that late payment. But student loans really help, because a lot of people get student loans when they turn 18, and they'll have it forever. Most people have it forever, and that's fine. Like as long as your student loans are in good standing, it won't prevent you from getting anything.
So let me ask you this: as far as the people trying to recover from bad credit, if they're overwhelmed with credit card debt, what are some options? Can they call to negotiate a settlement? Can they call and negotiate better rate? Obviously, bankruptcy. But like if you're just in a situation where you can't get it paid down, what are some options for people?
So when it comes to credit cards, if you just can't pay it down, well, number one, you have to make sure that you stop using like the cards, buying things so that you can manage it properly. Number two, it's so tough right now because we're in a time where credit card interest rates are the highest that they've ever been, ever. So a lot of people with credit card debt is just mounting, it's just growing every single month. So the best thing you can do at this point, if it's just like out of your control and you do not foresee yourself being able to pay that credit card down within the next 90 days, the best thing to do is honestly to close that card right now so that you can then work on a payment plan. Now, don't close it and then forget about it and not contact your bank. No, close it, but have a plan to work out either a settlement with the bank or an agreement to pay it back. If you close it and do nothing, then it'll probably end up a charge off within 30 or within 60 days. But closing it so that you can stop the charges temporarily, stop the interest a little bit and work on paying it back. You can, I would say you can, of course, get another credit card. You can transfer that balance, but most likely if you are in credit card debt, you probably don't even have the borrowing power to get another credit card to transfer the balance to a lower interest rate card. So yeah, you can settle with banks, and now a lot of banks are and tax time is coming up. So banks settle tremendously during tax time. Like they bank on that time. So now's the time to try to, come up with a conclusion on how you're going to settle your balances, and, rectify your habits. But yeah, you can settle, but you got to know that you will have to pay it.
Yeah, I actually went through that as well. Reached out to a bank. It was, I think at one point I was late or something. Maybe I think I had utilized the credit card to the max. And I was late, and they raised the interest rates from like 19%. This was like my college credit card. It went up to 29%. Then it became just ridiculous. I looked at the payoff date. It was like, it seems crazy now, but it was 2035, and this is like the year 2000. I'm like, all right,
house.
Yeah, I'm like, there's no way this is gonna happen. Yeah. So then I called, and they consolidated it down to a point where I had to pay it off. But I just had to make sure I paid 6 consecutive payments or 7, something at the same.
Yeah, usually it's like 6 to 9 months.
Yeah. So when it comes to things like that, when we're trying to pay off debt, because there's been different strategies, and I wondered if you have one, right? Do I pay the card that has the highest usage, or do I pay the one that has the least usage, so I pay that off and then I work my way, like the snowball effect? Like what's your thoughts around that?
So that's a great question. I do like the so if your goal is to just get rid of your credit card debt and you don't really care to raise your credit score at this time, if you're not trying to use your credit, then the snowball effect is probably the most effective. Get the credit card with the highest interest rate, pay it down, and then work your way down, right? However, if you are still trying to use your credit and want to grow your credit while you are paying down your utilization, then I personally recommend look at any card that has a utilization over 48%. Tackle those first. If you can get all of your cards under 48%, then you don't have what's called the max out penalty on your credit score, meaning when you apply for credit, it's not showing that you have a card that's maxed out, right? People think maxed out is 100%. After 48%, banks are looking at you like you have a maxed out card. So get all of your cards over 48%, under 48%. Then the next tier that you should aim for is under 30%. So once you get all the cards under 45%, work to get them under 30%. And then you just work your way down if you care about your credit score.
What's the penalty at 48?